Happy, happy, happy day. I woke up with this amazing analogy and image and just heart message that I wanted to share with you this morning. And I made some slides to help me get through it faster. I think this is so important. So, today we're going to be talking about how to homeschool a middle schooler. I'm so excited about this, okay? Because this is such a challenging age. By the end of this, you are going to know how to survive homeschooling your middle schooler. I want to give you hope, okay? It's so important that you understand the heart of your homeschooler and that you have the tools necessary to actually capture that heart. This is when you think about homeschooling, middle school plus or minus a few years around the age of 12. All five of my sons were very lucky to survive their 12th year. But in order to go through this, I want you to pause. I want you to say hi. Let me know if you have a middle schooler at home. Let me know if you're looking at middle school and you're starting to break out into a sweat. And if you have any questions, drop them below and I will get to them at the end. Okay, so in order to capture the heart of your middle schooler, you're going to need some tools. But we are going to start this at the beach. When your kids are little, if you imagine going to the ocean and you're taking your kids and you're playing in the sand, you're building sand castles, you're getting your toes in the water, and you may even venture out into the tide and splash and learn to swim. It's a super, super exciting time. And it's all about those foundations. Just like in homeschool, we start our homeschool journey from preschool right up until they start to like butt up against middle school. It's all about foundations. It's about the heart. It's about the character. It's about our goals. It's about foundations. It's about making sure that not only do they know how to read and write and do their basic arithmetic, but that they also say please and thank you, that they know how to empty the trash or whatever the chores are within your household. And you just get those foundations rock solid. And then somewhere around the age of 12, you see it. Oh, it's a tidal wave of hormones coming at you. And suddenly, that really sweet 10-year-old, 8-year-old, your cuddle bug, your little munchkin starts to get teary and angry and frustrated and confused and overwhelmed. That tidal wave is real, and it's insane how intense it can be. Now, some of your kids may not get hit and knocked off their feet by the tidal wave. And I would say, good for you. That's awesome. Celebrate that. The rest of us, watch our kids get wiped out by this hormonal tidal wave. And it can bring this wave of insecurity and overwhelm and frustration and doubt, not just to your child, but for you and for me, because suddenly everything that worked doesn't work anymore. And we start to think, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this? And the image that the Lord gave me last night as I was sleeping, trying to sleep, was that it's ironic that at the same time that the kids are getting wiped out by these tidal waves, these tsunamis of hormones, God actually sends us a lifeline. And I lost it. He sends us a lifeline. This is right about the time for our kids that we start to see their passions, their interests, their talents, and their abilities. It's amazing to me that it hits our kids at the same time that the tidal wave of hormones hits. But this is where you need to insert secret sauce in parenting and in homeschooling. This is where you need to recognize that, okay, while your kids were at the beach when they were little, This is the stage that we watch them in everything that they're doing, right? We're right there, we're holding their hand, we are guiding and directing them. But when they're this age, and after they are in that place where that tidal wave is hitting them, we need to remember that that 12-year-old is not only overwhelmed, but they have this desperate need to be seen at this stage. And so it's so important that we make sure that we take the time to observe our kids. And I really strongly recommend that if, like my kids, your kids are getting wiped out by that tidal wave, that you kind of push a lot of the academics, not completely aside, but you push them enough aside that you can actually see your child. What is it that makes their heart tick, right? You need to watch what causes them to get excited, what causes them to lean closer to the screen, what types of interests and things are bubbling to the surface. Because this is where the magic can happen in homeschool. This is where the magic of using something like secret sauce comes in. Because you have the ability, when your child is vulnerable because they're getting hit by all those hormones, and at the same time they're like, but I have this really special part of me that I'd love to share, but I'm afraid to share, but I'd love to share, but I'm afraid to, right? They're going through that weird thing. So we have the ability to see what makes their heart beat faster. And then we can lean into it. We can wrap what they're interested in what I call a learning burrito. It's fantastic. Oh my gosh. If you have middle schoolers, please hear me. A learning burrito is when you identify, ooh, my child's interested in that. And then you find a way to wrap life experiences, life skills, and academics around that passion. It's the heart behind all of the secret sauce activities that I've collected over the course of 25 years, right? You suddenly are able to merge right into your child's heart, and the child stops drowning. They start getting excited that they can exercise what it is that they are interested in. And it is the secret of surviving those middle school years. It gets overwhelming because your child's not the only one that sees this tidal wave. You see it too. That tidal wave looks like things like, if you happen to pay attention to them, they look like standardized testing, SAT testing, high school transcripts. What are they going to do with the rest of their life? It's this overwhelming, like, of homeschooling, where you see your final exam coming at you at a racing speed, knowing it's going to wipe you out because you're focusing on the wave, you're focusing on the curriculum, you're focusing on what your neighbor's doing or what that blogger is doing or sharing on the internet, instead of focusing on your actual child, focusing on what makes their heart beat faster. So when you're homeschooling the middle school years, I'm going to encourage you to lean into the passions and the talents and the interests of your kids, and find ways to create those learning burritos where you take what makes them excited and then you add math type skills that go with it, English, writing, reading that are attached to it, the history of, the science of, the art of, the music of, the food of. You wrap all of that around what makes your heart beat what makes their heart beat faster. Now, do you need secret sauce? You may not need my Homeschooling with Secret Sauce membership group that gets things like the learning activity cards and how you use them inside of your homeschool. You may not need that, but you do need secret sauce. You do need the X-ray vision or the superpower to observe your child and then to see what it is that they're interested in so that you can thrive and survive the gauntlet of those middle school age together, right? It's so important. You need secret sauce to thrive. You absolutely do. Now, inside of my Homeschooling with Secret Sauce, that's like the core of what I want to share with you. The core of how to see your child and how to see what makes their heart beat faster, and to encourage you that it really is possible to homeschool in that way, and to cause your child to blossom and open up and grow. When I first started homeschooling, and I'm going to encourage you because I'm going to continue talking about this on my YouTube channel. When my youngest son he was in this gauntlet age. And I remember looking at him and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, he is getting overwhelmed and he needs me to throw him a lifeline. And we were studying biology, and we hit the chapter. He was doing fine until we hit the chapter on fungus. And I saw him die emotionally when we opened the book. He went, and I said, close the book. And then we went and we did something for the rest of that day. The next morning, I handed him my phone and I said, it's really misty and wonderful out this morning. Do you maybe want to go for a walk? And if I give you my camera, maybe we can go on a mushroom hunting walk and you can take some pictures, because he loved photography, still loves photography. And he's like, really? And so we got up early and we went out in the mist, and he captured the most gorgeous pictures of mushrooms and fungus. And we did that every morning for the next 2 weeks. We found baby mushrooms, huge mushrooms, exploding mushrooms, all this stuff. I can still see it in my head. This one day, he was about 30 or 40 feet away from me, and I was just watching him take pictures. He's down on there and he's taking all the pictures. And he stands up and I can see him looking at my phone, and he comes running, almost skipping. He has a very distinct run where he kind of runs on his tippy toes. And he goes, I thought that fungus was going to be boring, but it's fantastic. And it was at that moment that we went home and we opened the textbook. And I said, okay, dude, you are ready to actually start learning about fungus. It was beautiful. The same child, same age, this hormonal tidal wave type age. I looked at him and I thought, okay, he's getting the academics, but I'm losing his heart. So I purposed to set all of his schoolwork aside for the first 2 or 3 hours of the day. And I told him, I said, it's really important to me that we connect. So we're going to start our day every day from now on, and we're going to walk down to the beach, because we live close enough to the beach. It's 2 miles away. We're going to walk down to the beach. We're going to search for treasures, and then we're going to come home. And then you'll do some school when we get home, some academic stuff. And what I would do is I would go with him and I would put some information in my head. So I would put some grammar questions in my head or some science questions or whatnot. And we would walk for an hour or two in the morning, and we'd go down to the beach. We'd search for rocks. We were actually searching for agates. And it was during that time, about 2 weeks into it, that he says, don't laugh. And I've shared this before. And I go, why would I laugh, buddy? He goes, I think I know what I want to do when I grow up. And he goes, but don't laugh. I said, why would I laugh? And I go, tell me. And he said, I think I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. And I remember sucking it, like going, wow. I go, well, what can I do to help you get there? And then I was quiet, because remember, I want his heart. And he said, I hate to admit it, but I think I need more math. And then he went on to share his whole plan. He had already thought about this so much in his head. He needed to study more math. He wanted to do a deep dive into the human anatomy. He wanted to study, what does it take to get into medical school? How do you survive medical school on sleep deprivation? He had this full list. And I said, are you ready? Done. When we get home, I want you to write out your plan. And that is going to be your science, your writing, and any other thing that we can replace for the rest of the year. The magic of, and he thrived. thrived. It's so exciting because what ends up happening is when your kids are overwhelmed with hormones, it makes them it you know it catches us moms off guard, especially if it's our oldest child. It catches us off guard because our kids are so sweet and they're so cuddly and they're so wonderful and they're so kind, and then suddenly they're not, and we're like, what the heck, where did my son go, where did my daughter go, where is the sweetness of childhood? And I want you to know that God sends you a lifeline. At the same exact moment that those hormones are destroying, wrong word, transforming your child from your cuddle bug to their future man or woman body, right? That whole transformation that's happening. It's a lot. It's a lot to go through emotionally, physically, mentally. It's a lot. They need more rest. They need better food. They need to be seen. Right at that same time, God will start to knock on their heart and show them what kinds of things they're interested in, what kinds of things they're passionate about. And I'm telling you, if you lean into their passions, and if you lean into their interests, and if you use secret sauce to create those learning burritos where you are wrapping what they love with life skills and academics, you will find that you and your child thrive and survive the gauntlet of adolescence together. So, anyway, that was just heavy on my heart. I would love to invite you to come into Secret Sauce. I would love to invite you to grab your free trial. Right in the things that are free, you get a copy of my book. You'll know within the first few pages whether or not you and I are a good fit for one another. But you can also give it a try for a month, and you can get your copy of your secret sauce cards. I spent the last 25 years capturing and collecting hands-on activities that help you create those learning burritos. So no matter what you are doing with your child, you have over 40 ideas of things that they can do to exercise what they're learning. And so it's still academic, it's still life skills, it's still hands-on active learning, but instead of using the textbook or the curriculum, you're using their heartbeat as the center of the focus. And it is magical. And so I'm going to invite you to come in and make sure that you grab the cards. There is a lesson plan that shows you it helps you map out the projects, and you can help your kids do anything from write a song to create an experiment, like a science fair type project. You can do graphic organizers, plays, PowerPoint presentations, maps, all kinds of stuff. It is truly the way to survive that middle school year. You can homeschool middle school and survive. You can homeschool middle school and thrive. And so can your child. And it's empowering. So, anyway, that's it. Hope you have a wonderful day. Please drop comments and questions below. Join me on YouTube to catch the rest of these as I am creating how you actually do this in more practical steps. And I will see you in the next video.